What's good, YouTube? It's Nehemiah, aka Neo, and today we're going to be having a live reaction to one of the blockbuster trades of this offseason. That man, Rudy Gobert, has landed in Minnesota, as well as some other little stuff. I'm going to do a whole reaction tomorrow because I have more time. But there's two things that I may upload today. Today is definitely going to be this one, and I may upload my Miami Heat video about their offseason. The difference though is in that video you guys are gonna see it's kind of outdated. Is I was supposed to go up 2 days ago when the Kevin Durant trade got up, but because of the Kevin Durant stuff, I had to push it back. But yeah. But first, I want to talk about the Malcolm Brogdon situation. The Boston Celtics essentially gave up nothing for Malcolm Brogdon, and combo guard that fits perfectly with that system. Another ball handler, so Jaylen Brown doesn't have to dribble for an eon with that loose ass handle. So you'll love to see it if you're Boston. In terms of what that would do for me going forward, in terms of breaking them, I think that they're the clear second team that I like in the Eastern Conference. It's either them or Philly that I like at second. I still like Milwaukee as first until further notice, but I think this is still one of the better moves that they could make. I think this is one of the top five moves that a team has made this postseason. But yeah, they essentially got him for nothing, and you love to see it if you're a Boston fan. Now, let's get into the Rudy Gobert trade. Now, let me pull this up on my computer. I just saw some of the trade details, but let me make sure that I don't miss out on anything. Whoosh. All right. So, what is this? Sorry about that. Video popped up, but let's get back into this. So, let me see the trade details. So, the Timberwolves are sending over Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverly, Walker Kessler, Jared Vanderbilt, which is actually a pretty big part. He was someone who was really good on the defensive end, and multiple first round picks for Rudy Gobert. And Bomaro is also in this deal, and the Jazz are landing 4 Minnesota Timberwolves picks, which could be good. Even though this was their first playoff appearance this year, there's still a chance that they may be like a lower lottery team, or even that. They could also still just be like a 9th, 10th seed sometimes. So, they may actually score really good on that pick. And as the talent for younger players comes, we're gonna see a lot better drafts in the coming years. So that's also great. One thing I do want to talk about when it comes to the Minnesota Timberwolves is how they actually have the perimeter defenders for Rudy Gobert. In the Jazz, they really didn't, and that's kind of why their defense sucked in the last couple of playoff runs. And people usually blame it on Rudy Gobert, and I think that if you're not really paying attention to the game as much, I could see how you could say that. But once you're really paying attention to what's happening, how things are going down, you kind of understand that Rudy Gobert kind of has no say in terms of what really happens on the perimeter. They just get blown by. That's why Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley, they really just don't have that much force when it comes to the dribble penetration that other teams use on them. And that's the reason why Rudy rotates over. He sometimes does overhelp, or he does get caught in no man's land a lot. But that's mostly because, people aren't able to stay, or his teammates weren't able to stay in front of the players. And at that point, you just got to hope for the best. And Rudy just tries to do what he can. But at the end of the day, once someone's getting beat off the dribble and you have to help, that's going to leave someone open. And, it's always Rudy's man that's open. But, you always have to protect the paint because, the layup is 100% the most efficient shot in the basketball league. So you always do that. You always have to. So now, in terms of the Timberwolves defense, they were actually all right, especially in the beginning of the year. They were really good. And I'm pretty sure they're the 12th ranked defense this year. They're rather the 12th or the 17th. Let me check with that one right now. But regardless, I think that their defense will still be really good going into next year, especially with Rudy Gobert. In fact, if I were to give a bold prediction, it'd probably be around the top five ish defense because they still were able to keep Jaden McDaniels. They still kept D'Lo, who's a really good defensive communicator. So there's just a whole lot of bright sides to look forward to this. They didn't really give up anything of worth, honestly. So this is really good for them. And I've seen in one of my bold predictions. I think that this was just one thing that was just bound to happen. Now, in terms of the Utah Jazz, they really did get a really good haul in terms of the picks and what else they could do for that stuff. And the Minnesota Timberwolves. Let me check their defense right now. I just pulled it up. Yeah, they're the 13th ranked defense. With Rudy Gobert as a center instead of Cat. Also, Cat is probably a power forward, honestly. He's probably like a power forward center hybrid, similar to Giannis and AD. So I don't think that that's really bad. So I think their fit is going to be really good. Probably more of a pick and roll player in terms of, Rudy Gobert actually running to the basket and Cat running a pop. So again, their offense is probably going to be really good. I think they still may have a couple more moves up their sleeves, not like something really big, but they can still probably do one or two more things. But regardless, let's talk about the Utah Jazz again. So, as I said, they got a really good haul, 4 picks, a bunch of young players. If not young players, they just got, at least assets that they could just dump. They could probably just get rid of Pat Beverly for someone, some of the other players. And with that in mind, you just have to look at the Jazz and think that if Rudy Gobert is gone, expect Donovan Mitchell to go. And my question about Donovan Mitchell is, where can he go? And not only where can he go, but is the asset that they will get enough? Because I've always seen the Tyler Hero trade being floated around, but we have to understand something about Tyler Hero and the Donovan Mitchell trade. You're getting a way worse player. No doubt about it. You're getting a way worse player, especially if you even package him with Kyle Lowry and Duncan Robinson. You're just getting the worst player, the worst side of the trade when it comes to the player movement. But you're gonna get a lot of draft picks, which should not come to a surprise when you're trading an all-star player for people who honestly aren't all-stars, probably more like role players. You have to get a lot of draft picks. That's what's just been seen here. But I'm not sure if the Utah Jazz are really going to get that much notable value from the Miami Heat, which brings the question: is there any other teams I could give any type of worth? I think that Lakers fans are going to try to convince the Utah Jazz fans that they could make the trade, and even though $50 million in cap space is just nothing to scoff at if they do trade for us and he expires this year, we just have to understand that people just don't want Russ. And if I were the Jazz, I'd honestly take on Russ's contract. $50 million in cap space is a lot. Restricted free agents, especially if you're going younger, that's what you really need. But I do think that the Utah Jazz are probably just going to go after DeAndre Ayton instead, which honestly isn't bad. But I think that's all I really wanted to talk about. I think the fit with Minnesota is really good for Rudy Gobert. There's still some questions that I may have with it in terms of how could Rudy's offense really impact that team. Not that the team is really lacking in offense. They only really gave up Malik Beasley, who was, a bench player once D'Lo came. So I don't think that they were really concerned with that. So, yeah, that's it for me, though. And I'll catch y'all later. I hope you guys are having a great one.